I'm not saying that Grey's Anatomy is the end-all, be-all of all medical programs. I'm just saying that we're now hooked on it because I, your happy and lovable host, had a near-death experience. I turned to my long-suffering wife, Marie. And Marie, would you agree with the fact that I almost died on the table?
You literally almost died, and that's what this episode is about. And we had the stress of that and got through it. But we thought, oh my gosh, what an opportunity to love life so much now that you're alive and you're still with us. Let's go ahead and let's level up the show. Let's get some technology going. Let's can I say the word pimp? Can we pimp this out?
Not only we're going to pimp this ride, if you're watching us if you're listening to us on the podcast, I totally get we're going for a couple of months. Hey, I almost died. We'll catch up in a second. But what we did during our hiatus was this. Look at us on YouTube right now. Hi, that's my camera right there. Hey, that's the camera of both of us. And hey, that's Marie's camera over there. Yes, we're now a multi-camera experience as our global media empire that is Voca Vacay kicks into gear one more time. We're back with a vengeance. That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
Voca Vacay starts right now.
Prepare yourself for the bestest, amazingest, and overall super-duperest travel program in the history of ever. Vacation like it's your job and live vicariously through yourself. It's time now for Voca Vacay.
Did I mention that as we're doing this, we are doing all the audio and video by ourselves?
It's going to be a bumpy ride, but we're going to do it.
So we're going to give this a shot, and we're just going to do it live straight through, and let's hope this works. So if you're one of our happy podcast listeners, again, we encourage you, go to our YouTube site at Voca Vacay, and you can watch us in action and watch this video and audio experience.
We're coming to you in 3B, 3 beers, and it looks good, okay? My favorite line from Strange Brew.
Great movie. You got to see that by now. Hey, whenever we kick off a show, we always give a shout out to our newest and bestest buddies who have joined our global media ever-expanding empire. And we've got three countries this episode.
Woo-hoo.
These countries are Poland.
Oh, man.
I've been there, and Poland, by the way, incredibly underrated, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, I've always wanted to go.
I'm going to take you. We're going to do a show from there.
Okay.
It's great. Mexico.
Oh.
How have we not had Mexico after all that? It's
I don't know.
there.
You're right there, man.
It's like people that live in Florida and never go to Disney World. Dude, it's right down the road. Make an effort. So Mexico, fine. Good to see you. And then Tanzania.
Oh, wow.
East coast of Africa.
I don't even know where
Mozambique.
I don't even know where that is on a map, and the fact that you know exactly where it is is super cool.
Well, I want us to go there sometime.
I mean, like I've heard of it, and I know it's got like really cool stuff, like
Very
safari stuff, right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything over there. It's supposed to be a wonderful place to go to.
I want to go.
Whole bunch of stuff we got to do over there. But before we get to that, let's explain what happened. As we'll give you some of the details about what happened during our hiatus of Voca Vacay.
We've been gone for like 6 months.
We've been gone for a while.
Let's be real.
Hey, can I just say something to all sincerity here? I'm not dead, okay? So be happy. I am not dead. And it's sort of a near thing there for a bit.
Oh, gosh, honey.
So before we kick off this whole episode off, and we're calling it Charge of 200 Clear, because this is about my personal near-death experience, simply because this is a trip that all of us will eventually have to take at some point anyway. So why not do this? But before we kick it off, we got to tell you, none of this is medical advice. I am kind of dressed like a doctor. Marie has a stethoscope on, so she's pretending to be a doctor. None of this is medical advice, so don't get us wrong. So, this is guidance and real world experience from our point of view.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we got the MD or anything like that.
Because something could happen to you while you're traveling.
Yes.
That's really why we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to address why we hadn't been here for so long.
True.
But also just talk about if you're traveling, what should you do if something goes wrong? Because you know what? We ain't getting any younger.
No, we're not.
But I am getting prettier. So I'm aging fine.
I'm aging like a nice cheese left out in the sun.
Oh, God.
That being said, Marie, as always, now you do have a bit of a medical background. Well, I don't want to say medical nursing background. So what is your background? Because you know some of the big words and you know things. So when Grey's Anatomy happens, you can actually make sense of it.
Yeah, my whole family is in healthcare, and I almost went into healthcare before I switched my major and went into this. Yeah. And here we are. But no, like I totally appreciate all healthcare workers. They're on the front lines of like, especially, this past year with COVID and everything. They're very essential and important. But I come from a long line of nurses and the like. And so I worked as a medical assistant for a while when I almost went into it, and it was like super fun. And so I look back and I'm like, that was good stuff. It just wasn't my calling.
Yeah.
But so after you got out of the hospital, which we'll talk about that journey here in a second.
That's going to be good.
We started binge watching Grey's Anatomy.
We're only into season 16 so far. I swear this thing has taken on a life of its own.
Yes. And we pulled some of our favorite things that we like to say just walking around the house now that you've almost died. And it's like kind of funny. So I wrote some of them down, but I can remember a lot of them just straight off the top of my head.
What do you got there, Nurse Cratchit?
Push 1 of Epi. Charge to 200. Clear. That's like, we say that all the time in the house.
We're always like, get the paddles. Okay, what else you got?
We got to get him up to CT.
Got to get head CT.
He or she's in VFib.
Oh, yeah.
She's in VFib.
They're tachycardic.
Give me a 10 blade. Oh, they're tachycardic. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I got to start a central line.
Oh, boy.
Now, see, I know what some of this stuff is. Yeah. And then I don't know how to intubate. I didn't learn how to intubate yet.
Yeah.
How do I intubate? That's always what like the interns or what they're saying.
The trick there is you need to see the cords.
Yes, you do need to see the cords. Thank you, Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, that's right.
And then the Mets have increased.
Yes.
Like when someone has cancer, the Mets. It's always about the Mets.
Yeah. And you gotta have clean margins.
And you gotta have clean margins.
Yeah. So that being said, while you do have a wonderful background in all things medical, I of course have firsthand experience.
Well, and I want to just talk really quickly for a second about health in general.
Right.
Like sometimes people can look super fit and be super fit and still be predisposed for something.
Yeah.
And then if you're like me, who enjoys the occasional cheeseburger, but no, in all seriousness, like, you know about this. And I think maybe we mentioned it in the, when we talked about the Run Zombies episode.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that, all of our listeners go back and listen to that. But, my whole life I've had problems with my thyroid. It was actually removed. And this was like over 20 years ago. And so, I live with my weight fluctuating a lot. I've gained and lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I've gained a lot of it back now and I'm trying to get it back off again. It's just something, if I don't work out like an athlete, it's just on me.
Yeah.
But my blood work comes back good.
Yeah.
So it's like you never know what's lurking even if you're fit, and you never know how truly healthy you are, even if you have extra weight on you. Like health is just a crazy thing. So I wanted to kind of like preface that because we had no idea that you were even having problems. Let's talk about that for a second.
Let's talk about that. Okay, so my background, and of course, remember, I went to high school with Brad Pitt. My background in high school, I ran cross country. I was a distance runner.
Yeah.
I've done the marathon thing, the triathlon thing, the 5Ks, 10K, whatever. I've run it. Whatever the distance is, I've probably done it by now.
Right.
And in some cases, several times. What happened was that the day of, and this was on a Thursday.
It was.
And just to preface this, just to make this real quick, Marie, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but you had not slept the night before. You'd slept for like 90 minutes. It was a really rough night for you.
There was something weird going on.
Something was happening.
And it was work related, or there was something with one of the pets.
Something was
I was
stressful.
up all night.
Okay, so you're up all night. So she's in no mood to be up nursing me. I made dinner. And let's point out, I had actually jogged like 2 miles that day.
We had been making after COVID, we had been making a very conscious effort to get healthier and to make sure we were exercising like we should have been, like we were before COVID, and to start eating better because, the world was kind of getting back to normal and we weren't having to shop for just like, what we could get at the store. It was like, oh, we can get all the vegetables and stuff we need again.
Right.
So yeah, we were actually for weeks, even you were on the treadmill every day.
And this is what we call pre-Omicron.
Right.
Okay. This is before Omicron made things interesting again.
This was August 12th.
Okay.
Of 2021.
Yes, August 12th, 2021, a Thursday night.
Yes.
And what happened is I made dinner because I decided to make dinner, and that I wasn't feeling great. I was feeling okay. My usual, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. One of those. And then about 8:30 at night, I just started feeling incredibly tired.
Right.
Like incredibly tired. And I looked at Marie and I said, I think I need to go lay down.
Right.
And she did the concerned wife thing. It's like, do you feel okay? It's like, no, not really. That's why I'm laying down. I don't feel great. And the thing they tell you whenever you see like the old Sanford and Son Red Fox episodes, whenever there's a heart attack, it's like, I'm coming, and they grab their heart and they start, I'm coming. No, not at all. Not at all. Help me, Jeebus. Not at all what happened. Instead, what happens is this. My left arm starts to hurt.
Yeah.
Like my left arm, everything from the shoulder down the wrist, it just starts to hurt. And the only way to describe it is as if someone grabbed your arm and put it in like a tube or something like that and started squeezing it.
Right. Almost like a blood pressure cuff.
Yeah. It was like blood pressure just squeezing tighter and tighter. I'm like, this does not feel right.
Yeah.
So I decide I need to go lay down.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with this. I need to go lay down. And you were actually pretty good about it because you were concerned for a hot second about what is going on.
No, here was the thing. I thought, oh, he's going to lay down. It's something that'll pass. It's just, his arm, he slept wrong on it. Like, I was like, there's something weird there. Then I started asking you questions because for some reason, here's the number one thing, really. You never actually just go, I'm going to go lay down so abruptly.
No.
Unless you're like getting the flu or like something. And because you said it was your arm, I was walking around the house and I was like, okay, wait, he said arm, then he said lay down. Wait, hold on, maybe I should ask some questions. So I was like, where does it hurt exactly? And you were like, right here on the underside of my arm,
right
from my armpit down. And so I was like, does your chest hurt? And you were like, yeah, maybe a little in the background. And so I was like, okay, this could actually be something. And so we've to shortcut telling people what happened because so many people have wanted to know the deets.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, well, I said, get in the car and let's go.
Yeah.
But really what we did was I took your blood pressure.
Right.
It was like astronomical.
It was high.
Like 190 over I don't even remember.
It was high. It was up there.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so at that point, and then we took your pulse and then I don't know, we put on your Apple Watch. Yeah. This is not a promotional ad for Apple Watch, but I did want to see because you can do your EKG on there or your ECG or whatever it is. Yeah. Like I was like, let's see, that looked okay, but your blood pressure. Then you were like, I'm getting my shoes on, and I was like, let's go.
Yeah. Because then became like, look, I really need to get out of here because I'm not feeling good.
Right.
And I can't really describe it more than the feeling of I need to go see somebody.
Right.
Because this is not a good situation.
We're lucky we got in the ER because quite frankly, because of COVID, the numbers were down and this was after, a lot of people had been vaxxed in our area, I guess, or something. But anyway, the hospital was not full of COVID patients.
Right.
But had it been, you would have been turned away.
Possible. Well, here's what I don't know what would have happened. I'll tell you what did happen.
Yes.
Though. We get in the car and Marie, because I like driving and I think I'm pretty good at it. Marie, out of nowhere, she's like, "I'm driving." I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "No, I'm driving right now." And so we get in the car and she just guns it.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about gun, I was like, it's like, if you see the Wizard of Oz when the flying monkeys, I think I was actually making that sound, and she's like, "Shut up, don't die on me." I'm like, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
So we're just weaving around. We get to the hospital within 15 minutes.
No, it was like 7 minutes.
Well, it's 15 minutes if you stop for the lights, and we, about 7 minutes later, she drops me off. She's like, "Okay, you go in there. There's the emergency room. If there's a line, cut to the front of the line."
Yeah, because if you say I have chest pains, they have to see you immediately.
Yeah, front of the line.
I know
Jack.
that from my family, from my background.
Yeah. My toe hurts. Go sit down, champ. You're not going anywhere right now. So I say, okay. I walk in, and there's like one or two people have me, but they're moving fast. I'm like, okay, and I'm still okay. I get up to the nurse's station or the receptionist, whatever it is, and she goes, "Hi, what's going on?" I said, "My chest hurts."
Yeah.
And Marie had dropped off the car. She comes barreling in, and she's like, "Yeah, you need to see him right now." I put both of my hands on the desk, and my left arm was purple.
It was shocking.
It was a beautiful shade of gorgeous, funky purple, but I'd never seen purple like that. My entire arm was gone.
It was so shocking. And it was turning purpler, if that's a word.
As we're going, more and more
as
purple
we're talking,
as we speak.
So she's looking at it. We're looking at it. There's a room, apparently, like here where we live, the hospital in our county, that luckily we live near.
Right.
They are like a heart center, and I never knew that.
Yeah, we found out we were lucky.
Well, there's a room behind reception just for people who come in with chest pain, so they can pre-screen you.
Yeah.
That's when they hook you up to the EKG.
Yeah.
And they because they can read so much off of that.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like immediately you're going back to the room.
Yeah. So the first thing is, we need to go back to the room. I said, okay, let's do that. Let's go back to the room right now. So we're going back to the room, and they hooked me up the EKG, and they're looking at me like, like, okay, we're gonna show this to our head
cardiologist,
our head cardio guy.
Yeah, that was like on duty and doing ER stuff that night.
Yeah. So, he's just noshing around. It's like, okay, fine, show him. I go to the waiting room. Now, the waiting room actually has quite a few people. There's dozens of people in there.
Yeah.
I go down to the waiting room. I mean, it's right there. I sit down. My butt touched the chair for a millisecond. I'm like, okay. They go, Mr. Barr. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I just bounced right back up. They take me back to another room, and there's a lot of people with very concerned faces.
Yeah, there was like a whole group of people at this point. We were in the actual like ER where all the beds are. So the actual like big room, not like any other smaller room.
Yeah.
But we're in the actual area, and they have just before, they take you and decide what's going to happen. They were just having a conversation with you right there.
Yeah.
And he literally, I will never forget this. He was like, do you smoke?
Nope.
Do you like there was these other screening questions?
Yeah.
Are you on heart medication? Have
No.
you ever had a heart attack?
Nope.
Da-da-da-da. He literally was like, well, you are having a heart attack right now.
Yeah.
And that's when my jaw dropped because I was like, I know his arm turned purple, but I don't know. It could have been a blood clot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could have been stroking out. I never thought it was a heart attack. You were on the treadmill. You ran for like a half an hour that morning.
Yeah, I'm good.
It was nuts.
So my first response.
Oh, God.
And I swear, he goes, you're having a heart attack right now. I laughed. I was like, no, I'm not.
You did.
I was like,
yeah, because
you're
what you
wrong,
you want to do is argue with a doctor.
Yeah. It's like, well, here's the EKG. You're lucky to be alive. Like, yeah, whatever, champ.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, we're going to have to take you back. Now, Marie has not gone into full freak out mode yet, but this is where the situation got serious for her because she's doing the old, what is going on? I'm like, oh, it's fine. They're wrong. It's not a big deal.
I like looked at you at one point and was like, do you really think that's right? Do you think they're right? Like, I was like, is that right?
No, not at all. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And so they said, well, okay, let's put you some hospital gown stuff. I'm like, okay, let's go big. And then they said, and this is the fun part of the conversation. They said, now we're going to shave your groin. Really?
And then, it's just like Grey's Anatomy. I almost said ER. It's just like Grey's Anatomy, where like something happens and all of the interns want to get in on it, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, like this whole group of young, like medical doctorish, internish looking people all come up like, ooh, heart attack.
Yeah.
While they're shaving your groin. So it was a show.
Yeah, apparently, and I can just say this in all honesty, you're welcome, everyone out there. What happened is, so they say, gotta shave your groin, because when I think heart attack, I think, I need the old groin shaven, because that really makes a lot of sense to me. So as they're doing that, what happens is they say, okay, what we gotta do is we're going to shave you. And people were literally lining up. What?
They're shaving you, and then I tried to find this on our Roadcaster, and I found it. Cue the applause.
Oh, fun with sound effects. So we said, okay.
Or you could have gotten this one, which would have been even worse.
Oh, hey, enough of sound effects. So,
First time we've used those. That was pretty fun. How apropos, based on what we're talking about.
So they say, okay, let's do this. I still don't think it's serious.
Right.
I'm talking with the gal who's shaving my groin. There are people coming around. And I guess heart attacks, when that happens, that's like the serious thing. Some kid breaks his wrist on the playground. Okay, you're not going to get a lot of people lined up to do that. Heart attack suddenly, my night just got interesting if you're a medical guy.
Right.
Or gal. So I was like, okay. They put me on the thing. They put me on the gurney. It's like, okay, now we're on the gurney. We're going to lay down and we're going to wheel you down. And Marie now has to go to wherever it is the grieving widows-to-be go.
Except, you know what? It was hard to be like, this is really, I knew it was serious. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it was hard to be like so in the moment about it because you kept cracking jokes.
Oh,
For those of you who have watched Friends, the entire way or where they're wheeling you up to the cath lab, we go up to the cath lab.
Yeah.
He's going pivot, like that scene where Ross is trying to move the couch.
And they keep bouncing off pivot.
And I'm like,
can I point out in my defense, we had the bad gurney. It's like when you go shopping, you got the shopping cart, the bad wheel, and you can't steer the damn thing. Same thing happened to me. We're bouncing in the walls. I'm like, pivot. And so the guys who are pushing, I got 2 guys pushing. They're just like, yeah, right. You're about to die. It's like, oh, you're not going to kill me from a concussion in the hallway here because let's go do the heart thing. Yeah. So they take you to a room. Mm-hmm. The story now shifts to me. And this is where it gets exciting, okay? Well, not exciting, but just kind of like overly dramatic type stuff. Yeah. Okay, so by the way, before we get to my big spiel, because this is going to take a hot minute, where were you? You were down in the waiting room, whatever.
Yeah, they have a waiting area. And it was nighttime, and because of COVID, they had there weren't people walking around. Like, I basically had the entire waiting room to myself. Yeah. I mean, there must have been 40 chairs in there. And I just sat there and was like, should I call people? Not yet. We don't know. Yeah. We don't know how dramatic this is at this point. And so I'm like, just kind of sitting there. And you weren't back there for long, like maybe 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So we abandoned Marie at this point. And then it's like, okay, so my gurney and these really god-awful drivers, okay, we're just whapping all over the place. We go into a room and suddenly this is when it gets more serious because now as we say, we level up here. And what happened is that I'm laying flat on my back. My right arm is extended. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, we're going to put a catheter in your wrist. And hang on, I don't know if you can actually see this still or not, but basically it's right here. I don't even think you can see it anymore. It used to be a mark there. Yeah. But they put a little hole in my wrist basically to insert a catheter. And they said, we're going to put a catheter in your wrist. And my first response was, well, what about my crotch?
Didn't you shave my groin for this?
Hey, I got shaved and everything.
There was applause and laughter.
Yeah, So I said, okay, fine. Okay, let's just go through the wrist and I'll take that as a bonus. Right. So they said, okay, so I'm laying there and I can see from the gurney, from the bed that I'm on, I can see some into another room. And it's right there. There's a glass wall and there's some black and white TV monitors. Right. So I can see that. In the meantime, there's a whole bunch of activity going on around me. Yep. A whole bunch of people went around. A guy named Dr. Can I say his name, you think? The cardiologist?
Yeah, because he was awesome.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed.
Dr. Ahmed.
Shout out to this guy. He basically saved my life.
He did.
So I think we can say his actual name. So Dr. Ahmed comes in and he goes, how are you? He goes, how are you feeling? I was like, fine, how are you? And he said, well, you're having a heart attack. And we need to go clear it out, maybe put in a couple of stents, but let's take a look. I said, okay. I was like, okay, you're the boss. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. You're the expert, dude.
The thing is, now when you think of open heart surgery, I'm thinking they're going to cut me open and, crack the chest and clear, boom, hit the paddles and all that stuff. Doesn't even happen that way. Does not. Everything you've learned from Grey's Anatomy and ER and all the other great medical shows is nonsense. Except for, Dr. Shepard, because we feel bad.
Don't talk about it.
About what, Derek Shepard? Actual tears to this day over this stuff.
I didn't watch it after that for so long until we started binging it after you got out of the hospital.
Yeah, it's like...
And then that whole episode, I had to hide under the covers. Yeah. Because I'm not going to... No spoilers. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
If you haven't seen it yet, Dr. Shepard dies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it killed my soul.
I know. Oh. But now, we'll get to it. Hold on.
But anyway, we're past it now.
That's called foreshadowing. Well, yeah. But are we? Or are we not? So what happens is they go, okay, so we're going to do this. I'm awake the entire time, by the way. So they don't put me under, and I'm just laying there, my arms out, and there's some people walking around, Dr. Mezzusa. I'm watching the surgery on the black and white screen, it's actually tilted towards me. I don't think that's by design. I think I was just like, oh, here's what's going on. I see this little thing snaking in my arm. That's my heart. Boom, 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 boom. It's doing its thing. See a little thing poke in. I'm like, well, this is fascinating. I'm talking to a guy next to me. His name's Ben. Ben is the guy. He's the attending dude whose job is to stand next to me, make sure that I guess Ben's job is like, hey, Dr. Ahmed, he's dead. And he would let him know. So he's like my lifeguard. Right. So Ben's standing there the whole time like, so Ben, you been here? Oh, yeah, doing okay.
Oh,
yeah, okay.
My gosh.
Yeah, he here with you. Yeah, my wife. Really? Yeah, she might. I don't know. I'd get a sandwich if the roles were reversed, but she's probably down the hall. Who knows? So it's like, okay, we do whatever. 45 minutes go by. Yeah. I don't feel anything. It doesn't work that way. I guess I'm numbed out or whatever. And the only time it really struck me that something serious is going on, serious with a capital S, is that she was a younger doctor and she looked to be in her 20s. And again, everyone has masks on. All I can see are her eyes. Yeah. But she looked younger. And she's like, it was done. And Dr. Ahmed said, okay, is your wife around? I said, yeah, I think she's down the hall. And you'd know better than I would. And he goes, okay, I'll go talk to her. I said, you do that. I'll
hang out here.
Not like I'm going anywhere.
She'll be asleep. She didn't sleep last night. I'll hang out here. Cool.
So this gal grabs my hand and she's like, is your hand cold? And, you know, I didn't have any sensation because there was nothing compared to. My hand is just in air. She grabs my hand with hers. I realized my hand is ice. My right hand is totally like frozen. I'm like, oh.
I wonder if it's because they cut the circulation off so they could get up in there. I don't know.
know. I'm just like, oh, this is poorly. I don't like this part. Okay, so then we're about to be reunited.
Yes,
that feels so good. We are. So they said, okay, let's unhook you from this and take out the frame and the rim rod and all this stuff. And now we're pushing me back down the hall.
But
now,
Dr. Ahmed,
let's go now. Now Marie has a soliloquy here because while I'm getting my frozen hand warmed up, Dr. Ahmed comes to talk to you.
Oh, Dr. Ahmed, I just want to apologize publicly for my denial of your accusations, which were totally true.
So true.
He was like, he comes out and he's like, so your husband has high blood pressure. I was like, yes. He does, but he's been on medication and it's the lowest dose and he barely needs it. And he runs. He's a runner. You know, he's a runner. And he goes, and your husband has high cholesterol. Nope. No, he doesn't. He does not have high cholesterol because I would know it because it only came back on his blood work with high blood pressure. And then he was like, so you eat poorly and he has too much salt in his diet. And like, he just starts like running off this list. And I'm like, no, these things are not true. We are very healthy. And I'm like, you know, I'm about to hit some buttons here, but I'm like, I do not eat cheeseburgers except maybe a lot of the time.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
I think that was meant for me, actually, but please keep going.
Yeah, I was in denial. I was in total denial. And we had been doing better.
Yeah.
But so he goes, this did not happen overnight. That was the point. This did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
And so he goes, this is 100% diet.
Yep.
He said that you had a clogged right coronary artery that was 99% blocked, surrounded by clots.
It was bad, guys.
That had I not gotten you there when it did, you'd be dead.
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like another 15, maybe 20 minutes on a good day.
So I'm in shock and I'm just like, thank you. I literally did say to him, oh my God, thank you for saving his life. And he said, I don't remember what he said. He probably said something like, I do it every day.
This is what I do.
And so then he went to get you and he said they were going to bring you to ICU and then I'd be able to see you then.
Yeah. So everything's good.
And then I went like this.
Which way is the bar?
Not really.
So now Frank re-enters the picture because here's the deal. Gurney guy has decided to push me back, and I don't know if it was Ben because I couldn't see above me, but someone gets behind me. It probably was Ben and some other dude. And they're like, okay, we're going to take it. Is your wife down the waiting room? I'm like, yeah, go follow Dr. Ahmed. She's probably talking to that guy. Okay. So they start pushing. They unhook the wheels. And, you know, we're rolling down. And we fixed the pivot situation. So now they're steering correctly. They're tacking into the wind like a sailboat. So we're making this happen. I come rolling down and there's Marie. And she looks like she's, how do I say this? You weren't having a good day.
You could tell that there was something else.
Pretty emotional stuff going on.
I was not my happiest.
And she's like, how you doing? It didn't help. And I swear this is true. This is absolutely 100% true. The whole time as we're approaching, I'm like, oh, Ben, is that it? Yeah, okay. And I start doing, I reach my hand out. I start pawing at the air. I start doing this, mother, I see the light, mother. Are you there, mother? My mom's still alive.
But he starts doing this and joking around, and he has no idea that Ahmed has just told me, you almost died. And I'm like,
the guy's pushing the gurney thing. This is the funniest damn thing they've ever. Mother,
they were laughing.
There's a light. Is that tunnel, mother?
I was trying not to laugh. I was so angry, but I was even laughing a little bit.
You had this whole cocktail of emotions on your face, just like anger and relief and just sadness and happiness.
Yeah.
And then more anger because I wouldn't shut up from making this joke over and over again. I thought it was funnier than hell. They wheel me up to a room. It's like, and now we're going to put you in a room. I'm like, okay. I thought I got a shared room. No, apparently when you get something of this seriousness
in ICU.
Yeah, you're in intensive care unit. So now, oh my goodness, we're just, I get a place to myself.
Yeah.
Lovely view, by the way, of the parking lot. So I said, okay, so they wheel me in. And here's what happened. I talked earlier about my right arm. Remember, my left arm was the one that hurt.
Yeah.
Going in. My right arm is where they put this little vein. They put the hole in the vein and the tube and the, all this stuff. And that's where they put in what, two stents?
They put in 2 stents.
Yeah.
They cleared everything out and put in 2 stents, and they had a really hard time keeping your blood pressure down.
Right.
So you were on a nitro drip for it was like 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was bad. And you had a hematoma in the arm where they took the catheter through. Mm-hmm. And so they had to come in and massage it. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So here comes...
Oh, but before that, we get to the room and I am okay until I wanted everybody to leave.
Yeah.
So everyone leaves and then I just break down.
Yeah.
And I just flail myself at your feet on the bed and your legs. And you're like, what is happening?
Like,
I'm like,
what is going on?
And I looked
here?
at you and I was like, you almost died.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you really literally still had no, you did not understand the gravity of the situation.
No, I really didn't.
And so I just was crying and I was just like, you cannot leave me. I cannot be on this earth without
Yeah.
you. You are the love of my life. You are eating nothing but vegetables from now on. And it was like, and you had no idea. And then it hit you.
Yeah, and that's like, wow, I've got to eat vegetables now. And let's back up for a hot second. When we talk about diet, the reality is that I can't talk bad about Taco Bell, but my reality, here's the absolute truth. I once ate at Taco Bell 8 times in 7 days.
This is nuts.
This is true. And I didn't realize it till someone I was eating with was like, oh, we're doing this again? I was like, well, yeah. It's like, didn't we do this last Thursday? I started doing the math. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally did that. It doesn't matter how much you run or how many, sit-ups you can do. I can do 3 sit-ups. It doesn't matter how much that stuff you can do.
Yeah.
It's if you're putting junk in all the time, it's going to catch up.
Listen,
that's just the math.
This is the thing. Life literally I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Life is hard. You do your best.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing the best they can.
Yeah.
When you have kids and when you have a full-time job, when you're trying to take care of everything, some people are literally taking care of their kids and their parents.
Yeah.
Some people are just overwhelmed. And when you're doing the best you can, you're trying to just give yourself what you need so you can get through to get everything else for everybody else and all the stuff you need to do for work and all this stuff. And all of us lose sight of putting our health and ourselves first.
Oh, yeah.
And it's super easy. So I don't want you to beat yourself up, but I'm super glad you didn't die.
Well, but the thing is, for decades, I would just say, well, Tuesday night, let's get Little Caesars.
Right.
Pizza. And again, there's nothing wrong getting a pizza once in a while. You just can't live off of this stuff.
Right.
And I was always about the same weight.
Yeah.
I've never been abnormally, it's not like, oh my gosh, I've never been on my 600-pound life or anything like that. But the reality is, I ate junk.
Yeah.
I truly did.
Yeah.
So okay, so she don't, and here is the fallacy. And this is why I got to call out every single person in the medical community, from the nurses to the medical practitioner, whoever. You are so full of hooey when you do this nonsense about just try to get some rest. Let me explain what I was hooked up to that night. One, my right arm is nothing but a purple hematoma. Hematoma, right?
Right. That's where blood gets under your skin from your vein or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, wherever they go in from.
Bruise.
And it just, but it fills up.
Yeah.
And it just, it's a big mass.
My wrist to my elbow is it's not purple, it's black.
Yeah.
Basically, it's that looks bad. And it is not, it's not friendly. Okay. I've got a pulse ox thing attached to this finger. I have tubes going into my left arm. Mm-hmm. Or my right arm. One of my arms just has tubes going into it because that's what we do here. That's where the nitro drip goes. By the way, if you get a nitro drip, it will give you the most crushing headache you've ever had in your life.
Right.
So I had that to look forward to. And I had a blood pressure cuff on me that every 15 minutes, exactly, every 15 minutes, it would take my blood pressure.
Oh.
Automatic, and it's you can't sleep through that.
You really can't.
Okay, so a lot of stuff has been going on. I just found out I'm almost dead. And there is a parade, an ongoing parade every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful that it happened because people were checking on me.
Yeah.
But I think everyone in Rutherford County was checking on me because okay, you all right? Yeah, okay, you got this form? Yeah, how you doing? And then they're like, okay, try to get some rest. And they shut off the light. 5 minutes later, someone else comes on, kicks on the light, like, what?
Yeah.
So no sleep. Dr. Ahmed shows up after a couple of hours. He's like, how are you doing? He looks at the arm and goes, oh, this is not good. You could get a clot. It's a hematoma thing. It's really bad on the right arm. And this was the nicest, most caring thing anyone has ever done. This guy stood there. He didn't get like an assistant helper type person. He massaged my right arm nonstop for almost an hour.
Yeah.
I think it was 55 minutes.
It was.
Here's the deal. If your arm is like basically black, from this much, and it's being massaged, there's a level of exquisite pain you've never felt until someone, and it's not like a gentle, hey, I'm going to rub you like a toddler's head. He's bearing down. He's like, I was like, oh, wow. It would hurt without the bruise.
Yeah.
This is already bruised.
It was it was bad. You were in so much pain. I felt so bad for you.
And they're like, we're going to give you more painkillers. Like, you can do whatever you need to here, Tex. This hurts a lot. So we do that. At this time, I don't know if we ever talked to I was like, don't call the family yet. We don't know what's going on. I'm not waking people up in the middle of the night because it's overnight now. Finally, once we get through all of this, I send you home to go check the animals. We got, animals here.
Yeah.
Check them. Try to get some sleep.
I came home and basically, I laid down. I tried to sleep. I couldn't. Maybe I got maybe an hour. So I'm going on 2 days no sleep. I went into the kitchen. I went into our refrigerator. I threw everything out. I literally was like, this is not happening. I have never
forgiven you for this, by the way. We had a half a pizza in there. I remember it. I remember that pizza.
And we had bacon. Okay? When you have bacon, you don't want to throw it out. I thought, maybe I should be the one to eat it. And I was like, no, this is a life lesson. And I've had too much bacon already.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Again? Really? Again with the...
But I did. I threw it out. I did the mature, responsible thing.
I've never forgiven you.
And then
on my deathbed, I'm going to say, you remember that night of August 12th back in 21, you threw out all the bacon. Thanks for that.
And then, you know what? We haven't had bacon since, actually.
Oh my gosh, that's what's missing in my life. So,
but anyway, I called people. I let them know what was going on, and then I came back to the hospital.
No, so she gets a couple, maybe, I don't even know if you got any sleep at all.
An hour.
She bounces back in a couple hours, and she asked that great question, like, how you doing? I'm like, really? Really? No. She's like, how you doing? Oh, it's great. So Friday, that was a Thursday night where the event happened. Friday, we're just doing, more of the same. I finally am able to get some sleep, and that takes us to Saturday. And I realize with all of the tubes and dials and hanging IV bags, I've got a TV remote control in arm's reach.
Right.
Oh, it's about Saturday morning at 3:00. I'm like, I'm going to start watching TV, and Grey's Anatomy, kid you not, Grey's Anatomy is finally on. It's an episode I've never seen before. And Marie's doing the old, oh, are we watching Grey's Anatomy? Yes, we are. That's how we got hooked. We came in on season 11. I'd missed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So then we finally came home. I'm skipping forward. When we finally came home, we started watching Grey's Anatomy.
And we've been watching it ever since. And now we're on season 16.
It never ends.
It does.
It's like the Hobbit's going to Mordor. Get there already. So
that's funny.
What has happened? Here's the end result now. Just sort of put a bow on all of this.
Yeah.
We are back on Voca Vacay, which is a lovely place to be.
We've missed it.
We have.
We missed getting new listeners and
it's the oddest damn thing.
Yeah, but we had fun putting this into next level.
Yeah.
So, here we are.
And of course, you're listening to the podcast, it sounds the same. Check out YouTube. You'll see it. There's audio visual excitement right now. So not only that, we're now eating better, eating healthier, I was discharged on the Saturday afternoon. Tons of medications, which they have since weaned me off of some of those.
Right.
I'm still taking some for the next couple of months.
Blood pressure twice a day.
And that's always a treat. I just finished cardiac rehab. And cardiac rehab, that is where they put heart monitors on you and they make you get on a treadmill.
Right.
I had to do this 3 times a day 3 days a week, I should say. I had to go in at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I did Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, did this for a couple of months, just finished that up.
Yeah.
And so we figured out once we get through cardiac rehab, once we're all clear, we're going to kick off the show again.
And then I went and I talked to my doctor and said, look, I'm so much heavier. I'm worried about me having issues. And they were like, oh, that's a thing we can do about that. And basically They do a scan of your chest and your abdomen, and then they
Right.
tell you if you have any blockages, and it's in a scale of like 0 to whatever, whatever to whatever. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But they were like, you have 0%, like nothing. They were like, you're at 0.
Your
And I
coronary
was-
passages are pristine. Apparently mine was a dumpster fire. And you're like, oh, look at me. Look at this. It's because I've eaten kale. Could not believe that nonsense.
I know. Well, here's the thing. That's what I mean about you never know what's lurking in the background, like
Right.
what's going on. I've had to eat much healthier my whole life, basically. I mean, ever since having my thyroid removed, at least.
Yeah.
Because my metabolism is so shot because of that. So
Right.
I've had to really watch it, because if I don't, I will be on my 600-pound life.
Oh, my gosh.
And you know what? Those people, God bless them, they're trying.
Yeah.
And, I've had to watch it, and I feel very blessed for my health, and I feel very blessed that I was at 0, but it's shocking because you look at you look at me, you would think I'm the one having the heart attack for sure. You know, it's just nuts.
Yeah, and because I'm on the treadmill that day, it's like, I feel fine. It's like, hey, you don't know what's coming. So the reason we wanted to bring this up is simply because, like, things will happen to you in this life.
They will.
At some point. And to tie it into travel, before you travel, because if this would have happened while we're on a plane or another country or something like that,
my gosh.
it's a totally, because literally I had about 20 minutes before I'm just checking out.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, so we put together a couple of ideas. And again, none of this is medical advice, but if we're going to sit here and go, before you travel, some of the things you need to do, you kind of need to do some of the following, easy steps.
Give me the deeds.
I'll give you the deets right now.
Give them to me, baby.
Number 1, go talk to your doctor and get a physical.
Yes.
Okay, if you can do that, if you got a doctor you're on speaking terms with, I now do, and I also have a cardiologist now. I never thought I'd have a cardiologist.
I know.
I know the guy, we've met. Turns out, go get a physical.
Yeah.
Number 2, and this is like a U.S.-centric bit of advice here, but if you're in whatever country you're in, you probably have something like the CDC. We have the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Right.
CDC.gov in this country. If you're going someplace, if you need to get shots,
Yeah.
if you're traveling, because sometimes you just need to get the shots. I'm not talking COVID here.
Right.
I'm talking about the other things like dengue fever, yellow fever,
Right.
whatever is out there. I didn't know this. A yellow fever shot is better 30 days later.
Oh.
It inoculates or
Yeah.
it does its
It
thing
does
in your
its thing,
system.
yeah.
So you want to get it a month out.
Right.
So it's not like, hey, I'm going tomorrow where they need the yellow fever shot. Dude, you want to do that next month.
Yeah, a little bit.
Number 3, check your insurance before you travel. Are you going to be covered?
And do you want optional extra insurance?
Yeah.
Because sometimes your insurance will offer an international plan, and
Yeah.
that's always good.
Yeah. It's just
If you can
like,
afford it.
If you can, if it's a rider or whatever, just a little add-on, go ahead and get that.
Yeah.
Number 4, take basic meds with you.
Yes.
And this is something, you are scary about this.
I have a little pill thing.
You're a walking Walgreens pharmacy. I swear to God, you have stuff like, what's that for? It's like, I don't know. Let's try this. No, but you actually know everything that's in there.
I got a urinary tract infection when we were in Lithuania, and
Yeah.
we had been over there a couple months. And I had to go see a doctor there, and the experience was very good, and it was very quality healthcare,
Yeah.
and I felt very good about it. I did have insurance that did cover international stuff, but that experience, because I was in a lot of pain before I went to the doctor, because I was kind of like, I don't really know, maybe I should just wait. You know how something happens and you're like, let me just see if this is going to clear up. Like, don't ever do that. Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
But it made me realize that when you travel, if you can go to your doctor, and this is a trick that I learned, ask for a 30-day prescription for some, or maybe just like a 7-day, like some,
Right.
it's antibiotics.
Yeah.
Some antibiotics are only 7 days, some are 30, whatever. Ask if you can have one, because you're going to be overseas for several months.
Yes.
And then most of the time they'll give them to you.
Yeah.
And so just get basic meds. I carry that. I carry, this is when we're overseas or,
Right.
traveling for a long period of time. I always carry like Benadryl, like allergy stuff. I just try and cover the basics. Because you can always get stuff when you are somewhere, but if you need it right there in the moment, it's always good if you have it on your person. And who knows how long you're going to be stuck on the tarmac in a plane.
Right.
So if you have an excruciating headache or really horrible indigestion or like whatever, you at least have this one little comfort, like, oh, I have Tums right here. Thank you, Jesus. Like, so anyway, that's just, my little thing that I am very aware of.
Yeah, because it's all the meds, all the prescriptions, and obviously because most prescription medication, I mean, you know what you're going to need. And most of the
Yes.
over-the-counter stuff, you know what you're going to get anyway. If you get really advanced, I know people that, look, there are medical kit websites.
Yes.
Which I love. I love looking at these things. And they have first aid kits. They have medications, scalpels, sutures, clotting things,
man.
stethoscopes. So if you really want to get into it, it's like, yeah, I'm going to take some scalpels and sutures. I hope I'm never at that point of my life.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, I've got to do this. No. I don't want to start suturing myself. But you can get things that are dedicated for travel, things that are for cold weather, things that are for maritime based, things that are pocket sized. There are a whole bunch of choices. And you've already talked about the prescription stuff. I had one case, it's also in Lithuania for some, I don't think it was the same trip, but I was over there and I got so sick. It was a cold.
Yeah.
And I don't get colds. I generally don't get these things. I got this thing and it nailed me, and my throat was like this. I was walking, hi, how you doing? And I was teaching at a university at the time. I'm like, I really can't function like this. This is bad. I go to the pharmacist. I'm just like, I'm putting my throat like, blah, 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 blah. And of course the pharmacist speaks English. Pure Lithuanian English is better than it. So how you doing? It's like, okay, here's what I've got.
Yeah.
And they gave me an over-the-counter, it's like a chloroseptic throat spray. Here's the deal. Chloroseptic doesn't taste like gasoline. This did. I swear that, and they said, and I was like, what will this do? It's like, it will kill all the flora and fauna in there. The fauna and flora. We call it fauna together.
I think they just
It will just wipe it out. It's like nuclear bomb stuff goes off. You do it once, and that will do it.
And then you were like, I'm cured.
I did it once, and went, oh, wow, that works pretty amazing. So I just had to do it every
Can we
couple
get that
of
back
hours.
in the States?
I had to do it every 6. I actually brought it back.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Yeah.
this is real. So just be aware that look, you're going to get sick on a trip. You're going to get motion sickness. Your tummy's going to hurt. Hopefully you don't have a heart attack or a coronary incident, because that's pretty, it's level 5 stuff that gets pretty advanced.
Yeah.
But just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And, bounce back. And thank you for driving fast and running the red lights for me. I appreciate that.
Well, and here's the thing also, go call your healthcare provider and ask them if you're on prescription meds. This is what I did when we moved to Bulgaria.
Right.
And we were over there nearly a year, 9 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I literally was like, can I get a year's supply? Because here's the deal. When you're on medications in the U.S. versus medications abroad, you can get your medications abroad.
Yeah.
You can get them cheaper most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just walk into a pharmacy and get it. You sometimes don't even need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
And the thing, though, is this. They're manufactured different. And I don't know what that means, but I'm not saying that one is any better than the other. I'm just saying, like, maybe the coating is different on the outside of the pill, like something. But our bodies are so, they're complex and amazing, but they're also somewhat delicate.
Yeah.
So switching even something like as tiny of a difference as that could create something in your body that your body doesn't really agree with. So I asked my healthcare provider, could they give me a year's prescription? And they did.
Yeah.
And so, I paid for it and then took it over. And the thing is, though, is that I was having to come back and forth a couple times, and I had left it here once.
Right.
And so it's my thyroid medication. And when I got back over, I was like, I left my thyroid meds. We literally walked into the pharmacy and got the same thing.
Yeah.
But again, it was manufactured differently, and I could have might not have agreed with me as well, but it was fine. It ended up being fine.
Did.
But that's good advice too, is to just kind of like, if you're going somewhere long term, ask your healthcare provider if they can do that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And people will work with you because no one wants to see you have a bad experience. And that includes us.
Right.
We want people to get out there, be healthy. And, if you're eating the bad foods, let this be let my near-death experience be a lesson to us all. Go see a doctor and say, hey, can you check this out before my arm starts turning purple and stuff like that? Because that's kind of a last-second thing. And you would think, wouldn't you?
You would think.
That once you had a near-death experience like this, that things were really, that you and your beloved would never fight again. You would think that, it was so close. I felt the icy hand of death on my shoulder and I eluded it. I came back from the afterlife just to see you, honey. We'd never fight again. We would never argue, but you know what? It absolutely happens. And we're going to go back to our great series, friends. It's time now for Monica and Joey.
It's game on. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
It begs the question, And in this situation, how about if I be Joey and you be Monica?
Oh, well,
That's always fun. That's how we do that game.
That's typically what we do. Let's just stick with that.
What happens is this. Joey takes life a certain way, a certain viewpoint, and Monica, not so much. But as we go into this, it's a real simple question because I'm thinking back to where I was coming off of the life-saving cardiac operation going, Mother, is there a light? Mother. If my mom listens to this podcast, she's going to be like, I'm still here. What's going on? That's not funny. What? Oh, Mom, I love you. Here. But the question is it okay to crack jokes at a time like this? I'll be Joey. Absolutely. Yeah. How you doing?
How you doing?
And you're all for good humor, but your thing is at some point, you got to be a little bit serious about these things.
I think it's appropriate until it's not. I think that after a certain point, you just kind of have to be like, this is what's happening right now. And you have to take things seriously because when something that is this impactful happens, if you laugh about it too much, you might lose sight of the fact that you have to make change. Yeah. Like you have to make changes. And it's like, we had to make some changes. So vegetables. When
I came home and we were baconless, I tells you, I knew it was serious then. Oh boy, this is bad. But thank you so much for,
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You never lost sight of who you are.
No.
And that's why I married you. And I love you so much.
I love you.
And that's why it was so scary. So I'm glad that you didn't just like change. Like you just are who you are. And that's the person that I love. But man, it was a little like, wow, I'm having a hard time over here and he's laughing.
Yeah. And I really did not realize how dicey it was until literally we're back in the room. Everybody left and you just grabbed me and said, you can't die. It's like, I didn't know I was going to.
Right.
I really didn't.
Right.
And there's no good tasting burrito that's going to change. It's like, I know what a burrito tastes like. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had enough.
Yeah.
One sounds pretty good right now. But
I will soldier on. You just got to do
on.
healthy burritos. And you just have to watch, you have to make some changes. You have to trick yourself into thinking that what you're eating is just as bad as what you were before.
I just can't do it as frequently as I used to.
And you can have the occasional, like, whatever here and there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And guys, here's the deal. We're still going to travel. We got some incredible trips coming up. It's not like we're going to get there and I'm going to eat kale and carrots. That's not going to happen. I'm still going to live my life. It's just when I'm here at the house, I can't be doing what I did before. Daily. And when I say before, this before Marie, because Marie's actually, I never had asparagus before I met you. I never had cauliflower before I never had any of these foods before I met you.
Yeah.
The reality of my life is that there's a good 20-year period of my adult life I ate crap.
Oh.
And it caught up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not going to happen again. All right. Because sometimes you just need to take care of yourself.
Yes.
But I'm still going to crack jokes. Every time we do.
It's okay. It's why I love you.
And that's why I love you too, dear. And the other thing is that, when we're doing this, we also look at some things. We're telling you tips about how to get insurance and all that. There's one more level of insurance that you might want to consider getting if you're going someplace, okay? And that is something we have hunted down for you. We presented to you in this episode as a travel nugget.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Sorry, everybody.
Hang on. We're going to...
Just bear with us. I hit the wrong dang button. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I will say this, though. I'm actually glad that kind of happened.
Yeah.
Because I did want to say when you're traveling, and especially if you have some sort of like, conditions, what are they called? Pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
It's always really good to know where the embassy is. So just always make sure that you know where the embassy is. Okay. Yeah. We're going to do this again. Take two. One just for me.
Okay. I'm not going to do you do the audio. I can't do that. Okay.
Oh, wait. Hold on. One more.
Okay. You ready now?
I am ready.
Okay, you go.
Okay.
Ooh, I like a good travel nugget.
There it is.
That's what we were looking for. Okay. Travel nuggets go like this. And this travel nugget is brought to us by our buddies at MedJet and Global Rescue. No, we don't have deals with any of these guys.
Oh, yeah.
But this is what we call evacuation insurance.
Yeah.
Evacuation insurance through websites. We're going to put these links up on vocavacay.com. Global Rescue and MedJet. These are two of the industry leading groups that basically, if you go to a country that you're not too sure about, you get insurance from them in advance and say, I'm going to this country. I'm going to be here for this long.
Oh, yeah.
It's me and maybe a friend of mine or my family or something like that. And here's where we're going to be. And they say, okay, here's your insurance policy.
Yeah.
And you buy it from them, basically.
Yeah.
What this is that if things go really wrong, as in really wrong.
Oh my.
These are the people who come in. Global Rescue can add a security membership so military special operation veterans will come get you if things go bad with civil unrest, war, or natural disasters.
Oh, wow.
So if anything goes really wrong with these guys, these are the guys who will come in and get you out.
I would totally pay for that. I just like knowing that, like, I'm like, okay, I don't really want to go out of my way to make people think I'm special because, you know, I'm just a person. But if something really goes wrong, I'm like, no, I'm special. I'm real special. You got to come get me.
No, that's not it at all. Okay, let me point out the error of my wife's ways, shall we? No, I just think you like the idea of a bunch of Navy SEALs breaking down the door and say, we're here for you, Marie. Come with us.
You're a Navy SEAL in my mind.
Oh, my gosh. You're actually blushing over this idea.
We like to call, what I like to call that is a perk. That's a perk of buying the service. The actual service actually, it like really makes me happy. Yeah. But yeah, you know, seeing some hot Navy SEALs, I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah, yeah, and their job basically is come in and say, okay, we're here to find you, and they take you out.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool. But again, usually if you don't get to that level, go back what you said a minute before. Let your embassy know if you're going to a place, because we've gone to places. I'm not going to name the countries we've gone to where it's like, oh boy, because I don't want people to go like, you know, like we're warning you against going to a country. I'm not going to tell them what countries this involved.
Right.
But we have on occasion said, we're going to know where the embassy is. We're going to make a contact. We're going to email, hey, by the way, we're getting, and the embassies know. They're like, okay, sure. You're at this hotel. That's your name. Your passport's been scanned.
Yeah.
All is good.
Yeah.
So usually when we get the visa, they get a heads up anyway. But still, it's like, if that helps you have a better experience, a safer experience,
yes,
by all means, go big. The embassy's used to hearing from people.
And if you can afford it, buy the service.
Yeah. You know what? And at the end of the day, you know what? That's their job.
It is.
You know, so if you want them to do that for you, fine. Finally, as we're wrapping this up, you know, one of the things we've been talking about all the good food that I'm now missing, including pizza, Taco Bell, nachos, and guacamole.
Guacamole.
We also have a little segment. We always end out this program by, I don't know why this became what the holy guacamole, because we want to say what the holy, you know, and bad words come out. We just had guacamole.
Right.
So anyway, we always go through and we do our voluminous research and putting a show together. We find all these little travel tidbits and all these things. And sometimes you come across stuff, it just like it's a little bit unbelievable.
Let's make sure I'm ready and then get the right button.
Let's make sure I hit the right button too on the video. And this is where we have a little thing like, this is our guacamole for the episode.
What the holy guacamole are you talking about?
Woo, I got it.
Nice, so did I. It's this is such a synchronized, choreographed. It's like that synchronized swimming in the Olympics when you see people hitting the things at the same time.
Yes.
It works out well. But this guacamole, as we just prep for you, is as follows. The Transportation Security Administration, your buddies at the TSA.
Hit me to your knowledge.
Here we go. The TSA.gov website. Yes. And you can check. You think I'm making up any of this, because I'm not. We only speak true hoods here, no falsehoods. These true hoods come to you from the TSA, our good buddies over there. The top 10 items confiscated in 2021. They keep a list.
Stop it.
They keep a list of these things.
Stop it.
Who knew the government would keep a list on anything?
Oh my gosh.
Turns out that the TSA, these are not the top 10 most frequently grabbed items confiscated.
Right.
But these are the 10, they're just like, you're not going to believe what we grabbed. Okay. Starting from the bottom and going to the top. Number 10, in the Atlantic City International Airport, somebody decided to take on deodorant, which is fine. But they took out the deodorant and they put bullets in the little deodorant thing.
Dude, like how obsessed do you have to be with your firearms to be like, I gotta hide it in my deo? Like, it's like, what is that?
By Menon. By Smith & Wesson. I don't know how to make that work. It's just, really? This is absolutely true. Number 9, somewhat Newark Liberty International Airport tried to bring on a pistol.
Oh, fantastic.
Bad idea. They're going to get that. I'm going to get through number 8 here. The Houston William P. Hobby Airport in Houston. A meth burrito.
Okay, wait, stop. Say that again.
A methamphetamine burrito.
This
A
is like-
burrito with meth.
This is like, you can't make this up.
I'm not making it
This
up.
is like, that makes me want to watch Breaking Bad. But to me, it's like, if you're all strung out on meth, you don't even want burritos. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so funny to hear meth burrito.
Yeah.
Like, those two words would never be together.
Okay.
I guess they thought it was a good place to hide it, though, so go big.
Yeah, because who's going to look inside a burrito? The TSA. That's who's going to do that.
Yeah, well,
So-
they got to do their job.
Number 7 at the international airport in Hawaii, a firearm in a belt buckle.
What is this?
Let me explain. I actually looked at this one. It's a belt buckle. It's about, I want to say yay big, but
Yeah.
it's a big, you know how in the Southwest, some people wear big belt buckles.
Yeah.
It's a belt buckle so big, you could flip it down and there's a very small pistol concealed in there. I'm not making that up. Someone actually, how do you drill these things out?
I don't know.
Harrisburg International Airport, this in Pennsylvania. Someone tried to bring on a cleaver.
That's very Dexterish.
Yeah, thanks, Dexter. Destin Fort Walton Beach Airport in Florida. Bear spray.
Low rider.
Bear spray.
Oh, man.
You got bears in Florida?
Well, it's like, but where are you going after you land?
I know.
Are you just making a break for the hills?
Is
Like
this the
you're
trip-
like, I need bear spray.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, as
what is
soon as I get
happening?
as soon as I get out of the car and off the shuttle, there's bears attacking me at the Bozeman, Montana International Airport. No, there's not.
Oh my God.
So you have that going on. Number 4 at the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, someone brought on a machete.
Machete.
Machete. Number 3, Syracuse.
Crazy. I wonder how that fits in the overhead.
How do you? It's like taking on a gladiator sword. They're going to notice. It's not a Swiss Army machete. It's a full-sized one.
God.
Number 3, Syracuse Hancock International Airport, fireworks.
Oh my.
To which I'm like, really?
Was it 4th of July? That's what I would like to know.
I guess. Number 2, Sacramento. Oh, these Sacramento guys. A wine holder, which is fine, but it was shaped like a firearm. The image of this, it basically take 2 6-shooters, like old-timey 6-shooters from the Wild West.
Yeah.
They welded them together, and you could lay or sort of rest a bottle of wine against it.
Okay, now see, this one doesn't shock me as much because this sounds like a specialty gift
Yeah.
for like someone, like maybe you were traveling and you were in one of these like kitschy little like shops.
Sure.
And then you see this and you're like, oh man, like Uncle Mark would like
Yeah.
really love that.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I don't want to pack it and check it because
Yeah.
it might get ruined. And so then you're like, I got to take it through, I got to get it on the plane.
I got to take it on my back.
It's
so.
a gift. I don't know. It's just kind of,
It's a little bit crazy.
but here's the thing. It's like, how big was it? Like maybe it made the list because it was too big. It wouldn't fit in an over. Like some people will try and bring things on that I'm like, that ain't fitting under your seat and
Nope.
it ain't going in the overhead bin.
Nope.
So what do they do?
So don't even ask to gate check this monstrosity
Right.
because that's a bad idea too. The number one thing, the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, someone at TSA decided to snag a traveler who was trying to take on a chainsaw.
Oh, stop it.
Actual chainsaw.
Leatherface. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, absolutely true. If you doubt any of this, TSA.gov, check your happy little federal government website right there, and they will give you all of those, give you the links and the pictures, stuff like that.
That is so funny.
And we just want to say, hey, thanks so much for checking in with us, guys. We really do appreciate it because it was a near-death experience, but I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here, honey.
Me too. And not only are we here, we're on, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagrams.
The instant grams.
And as always, our mottos: live vicariously through yourself and vacation like it's your job.
Yes.
Coming up after this one in a fortnight, we'll see you in a fortnight, but coming up after this, our next couple of shows,
Yes.
Bourbon Street, New Orleans. We're going,
New
baby.
Orleans, baby.
We'll see you then. Love ya. Miss ya.
Mean it. Bye.
Don't forget to click subscribe. As always, hashtag Voca Vacay at Voca Vacay and visit VocaVacay.com.